Welcome back to another episode of Harmonious at Lunch, the show that fuels your business success. I'm Brandon Gano, your host and guide through the world of harmonious business growth. Today, we're unlocking powerful strategies with industry experts to help your business thrive. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or executive, you are in the right place. Join me and our incredible guests today on the journey to clarity, growth, and success. It is time to revolutionize your approach to business. Let's dive in with another episode of Harmonious at Lunch. Welcome back into some more bite-sized business advice, and today is already my favorite episode ever. I'll tell you why in a second, but we're talking about 6 steps to supercharging your business, and we're going to weave in harmony. My guest today loves music and harmony. Her name may even mean harmony. We'll see. But this is going to be a fantastic episode. We love harmony here on Harmonious at Lunch. But Sharon Siebert, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
You've got it. Yeah. So we were talking before we came on, for those of you who are just listening to us now, that harmony has been a theme throughout my whole life because I'm a professional musician. Since I was a kid, I've been doing music, and my name in Irish Sharon means harmony. So this has been a burden I've readily accepted in my life, something that I've always aspired to, and my work is a reflection of that too. So that's what we were talking about. Don't mean to keep you out of the joke here.
No, definitely not. I love it. What do you play? Instruments? Do you sing? What do you do?
Yeah, I'm a songwriter, and from when I was 2 years old, my parents started thinking this kid might be a musician, because I crawled over to the crib of my just born sister Irene, who I love to bits, and very early on I sort of hoisted myself up on her crib and started singing the song that I had heard my parents and uncles and aunts sing, which is "Good night, Irene, good night." And not that well in my little baby voice, but as I tell people, it ain't Mozart, but it ain't bad. So I do have this tendency, and that's actually part of what we talk about with our people, is that there is in you a gift or several gifts, and you are harmonious in your life and your work when you're giving them. That's your original tone. And we want your work and your business to be tuned to that originating tone, the real you, the authentic you.
And now you all know the secret sauce behind this podcast and what we do, because that is it. We want to express you in your business, in your life, and tie them both together so there's no dissonance. And with that, Sharon, we should leave, because I think we've done justice. That we should wrap this up. That was perfect. Thank you for that.
Well, you can see, talk about secret sauce, why I love my work so much and what it does for people and what rewards come back to me for helping people tune into their gifts and then do their careers, their profession, their business based on those gifts. There was a study out of University of Southern California, longitudinal study. It's probably like 30, 40 years now. And it said that your gifts show up. So this is all you out there listening. Your gifts show up when you're in early age, like the gifts I just mentioned about me, or up to middle school or so. And these are the things that are easy for you, and you think they're easy for everybody, and they're not. They're your gifts. And so the studies show that if you use these gifts in your work, you're going to be a happy camper. You're not going to go home, kick the dog, yell at the spouse, that sort of thing. You're not going to do that. You're going to be a happy person spreading harmony wherever you go. But if you decide because your family's business is accounting or something, that you go in the family business, but you're really a poet or you're really an artist or something like that, you're going to be a miserable human being. So we know that you're spreading good wherever you go if you tune into that authentic self, your gifts.
I'm so curious about that. I'd love to ask you a question and just totally deviate this interview, but we will get on track. We will talk about the 6 steps.
Okay, sure, you go.
But I'm curious in the work that you do, because you work with people, of course. When we get further into our careers and our lives, we have people listening to the show from their 30s to their 60s. You kind of ignore those gifts. Some people have ignored those gifts so long where they can't even identify what they are or recognize it. How do you help people get back in tune with their gifts and what they were born to do.
Yeah, this is like Greek tragedy. I mean, that people are decide that they're going to go for the money, or now we need a lot of nurses, and they normally would faint at the sight of blood. They're just not fit for that kind of role. But there's a market opportunity. We see this in businesses too. The business is really built. Its reason for being is this. But then they decide there's more money over here, and they get off track. And so people come into me who indeed should have gone into other work. And so we examine what we can do in their lives so that they can own some of that, so they can have some of what is their natural gift in their life. So, so people, and if they're, they can be very adequate at their job and be making lots of money, but they're so unsatisfied. They're not self-actualized, which is that top thing we're going for on the Maslow scale. So if your destiny is to do such and such and you ignore it, it's a pretty unhappy existence. So I work with people to see what we can weave into their lives. If it's time to make a big change, then we look at how we do it strategically so they don't wind up on the street while they're trying to do this, so they can really keep things going. Or maybe a lot of people who come to me, they're ready to really start their new business because they've reached the top. They're not getting any further in their organization. They don't like the people they're working with, yada, yada, yada. So we said, okay, need to tune that instrument up here. And we go right into it. What is it that you're born to do? And we know from the studies that people actually are brain encoded to do certain kind of work.
I fully agree with you. And I know that to be factually true. So this is why I love this conversation. So let's pause real quick and say, if you are successful, air quotes, if you're not watching, you've done it all and you're still not, it's not it for you, just pause this episode, go to Sharon's website. It's in the show notes below. Go have a conversation because you need to be tuned up and you're not doing the right thing.
Right.
But
Right.
Sharon, okay, so let's dive in. Let's talk about for the people who do want to supercharge their business. What are these 6 steps? What are we talking about here?
Excellent. Thank you for asking. Yes, I love talking about this because we're back to harmony. So when you're starting your business or you're a leader who's trying to increase your skills, we start at the core, start at the very beginning. Do, re, mi, all over again, right? So you see the originating tone is the reason for the business's existence. Why is it in business? And you'd be surprised how many people really don't get that down pat. And so what is the point? What makes you different? Why are you unique? What are the gifts that you bring to the marketplace? All those kinds of things. And then as a leader, similar kinds of questions. What are your values? What are your principles? Once you have that down, once you have the identity, your identity and the organization's identity down, everything tunes to it. Everything you do, the decisions you make, the behavior you have, the skills you need to get, everything tunes to that originating tone. Da, and then everything moves out from that. So that's the first step. If you get that one right, you're gold. I mean, this is if you can do so much more quickly, and research indicates if you get the identity down, everything falls naturally behind it. So we are tuning to that tone, okay? And now we move into the vision. So that's the second step. The vision is the loftiness, the high things. What can we possibly do with who we are? What can we do in the world so that we generate all these possibilities? These are beliefs about what's possible too. So this is like the mind. The core is like the soul. The vision is like the mind that you have. And for your organization, if people are coming together, what do you think is possible? What are you going to do about it? The third step is the fire element. That's about your will. We are going to do this, and we are going to do this in this time. But now we have prioritized, because we can't do all those possibilities we dreamed about in step 2. Step 3, we prioritize. We go at it. Everyone's aligned. Everyone's moving in the same direction. So it's going to happen, right? The fourth step is getting everyone who needs to be on X task, Y task, Z task. Everyone's contributing to this target that we're moving forward on. So that, talk about harmony. Everyone is harmonized in terms of the behavior you're doing. And then the fifth step is that back to the earth element, which is structure. We've got to put these things, we got to codify. We have to have the processes that are going to keep this going when people are having bad days. We just have to make sure the money's coming in. We have blood in the veins of the organization. It's going to keep going, right? We can sustain this effort. And the habits are built for the purpose. So if we're taking, depending upon our function, our why, do we need a station wagon to get going? Do we need a bus? Do we need a fast sports car? You build your organization after these prior elements are decided. And boy, does that make a difference. And then the last step is that of synergy, which is we're making sure all the dots are connected all the time, because things move over here and they move over there, and we get them all connected that way. So that's the process. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I love it. I have nothing to add, because that's exactly what we do, and that's why we call it harmonious. This is fantastic. We are kindred spirits here.
Yay!
But I want to get your perspective on something, because you said so many things that were just incredible. And I've noticed this in working with businesses. When you follow that process and you have that core down, right? The unnecessary things tend to fall away by themselves once you progress through the steps that you've described. Whereas most businesses, prior to doing that work, which I've done a study, it's actually 100% of businesses never do that work. So you said you'd be surprised by the amount of businesses who don't do that. Yeah, it's all of them.
Yeah.
But the ones who don't do it, they try to put all the stuff on their business first, and that's where the dissonance comes in. Talk to me about your experience in working with businesses where you say, no, we're just focusing on this one thing for now, and then we'll get the rest, versus the opposite approach.
What tends to happen is that people, the leaders become sure about what they're doing. If they understand the process, they can sink into it, and they can withstand, I would say, market pressures, withstand the naysayers, because they're in it. They know why they're doing. So there's a very natural pushback. That's fine. We know what we're doing. We're going ahead with what we're doing. So that's one thing I would say. And then this model is built on the archetype of the center and the 4 directions, and then the whole compass that holds it. So anybody can understand this. So the buy-in from your organization and people traveling with you is stronger, because I get it. I know what we're doing. It's not some, I remember once I attended a session at the MIT Sloan School, marvelous school, but they were talking about their strategic plan, and they were writing things down on the board, and I was going, okay, nobody's going to understand this that I talked. No one's going to understand this. So we're doing just like ABC, where we're just bringing them through, and everybody can understand it, and then move along with it and add to it and improve on it. So the wagon train's moving west at the same pace. Everyone's on board. And that then also helps people stay the course. There was a great research piece by Alan Deutschman, who wrote the book Change or Die. Do you know that book? It's a great book.
No, I haven't heard of it.
Change or Die. Okay, you can add this to your references. And he found that people will not change, and this is very true of business strategy. We can put it in this context of, and people will not make changes if they use fear, force, or facts.
So
Those
all three things that we are accustomed to using.
Hello. Yes, exactly. People come in and they say, we're doing our strategic plan this way, and we're moving it forward that way, and get on board, folks. And people are looking at you, and they're doing the bobblehead. Yes. And as soon as you turn your back, they're doing something else. They're doing the things the old way. But what he found was that if people reframe, relate, and repeat, that they will make change. The first group, fear, facts, and force, will only change 1 in 9 times, even if they're told if they don't change, they will die. That's how hard change is. And that's how hard for you to create a new organization, change the organization, transform your business. That's what you're working against. So what we found is, in our methodology, I looked at it and I go, oh my God, we have 6 steps. He has 3. Our 3 are right embedded in what he's talking about. So only 1 in 9 people will change with fear, facts, and force. With relate, repeat, and so reframe, relate, and repeat, 90% change. 90% of people getting on board. So if you do that proactively because you're trying to create your organization or you're trying to change a part of it, this is how you can get people to travel with you. Talk about harmony, right? This is what we're doing. So everyone can tune into this and they understand it and they feel like they've chosen themselves to go on board with this. And then you have all their energy. You have all their, they're not pulling against you. Isn't that
Yeah.
great?
It's fabulous. I didn't know those stats. The first thing that popped in my head though, and I'm sure we don't have any doctors listening to the show, is doctors and cancer patients. I've seen this first person, people in my life who have cancer, and there's always the potential of death with a terminal disease like cancer.
Yeah.
Even if you have a percentage chance of survival, there's the big percentage chance of not, and they don't change. There's no effort. They just follow whatever the doctor says and hope it works. There's proactive things you can do, but that's the 1 in 9, right?
That
But then
is
the
the one
other,
and nine. And isn't it tragic? There
it's
is
so
so
it's so sad.
there's so much loss that is unnecessary. So when I'm a big science, citizen science buff. When I see something that is like an improvement, so the way you and I are trying to work is really more in line with quantum science as opposed to mechanical science. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to say, oh, okay, everybody, reality actually is over here as opposed to over there. Let's get on board. But Alan Deutschman found out how we can do that with people, make it simple for them. My process, I want to make it simple for them. Life is hard enough. Work is hard enough. There's always going to be problems. There's always going to be things taking you south. So let's make this process simple, straightforward, easy, everyone on board.
Amen to that. I couldn't be behind this episode more emphatically. Sharon, I love this, and thank you so much for coming. There's not enough time to continue just having this fabulous conversation, but for those people listening and they want to learn more, they want to go down this path, they want to be a part of the 90%, not the 1 in 9. Where can they learn more about you?
Just go to corecoachingconsulting.com. And look at how you did that. That's very sweet. And there's so much free stuff. You can get the free leader report, your free career report. You get all of the blog stuff. And we also have free community events every month that we just do as a public service. So you can also get hold of me on LinkedIn. That's Sharon Seivert. Just look me up. It's spelling is EI, pronunciation is Seivert. And I love meeting people from around the world. I have a new friend in Raleigh as of today, and we are going to continue talking because it sounds so simpatico, so harmonious what we're both doing.
It does sound harmonious. I think I messed up the pronunciation of your name in the beginning,
Not
but
a
Sharon
problem.
Seivert,
I
thank you
answered,
for
yeah,
being here.
you got it, and I answered just about anything, including, hey, you.
All right, you big dummy. No, I'm kidding. You are not a big dummy. You are an amazing human being. Thank you for being here.
You
This is
got
an
it.
absolutely phenomenal episode. For those of you listening, watching, wherever you are, yes, the website's on the screen. It's in the show notes down below. The LinkedIn's down there. All the freebies and goodies are on the website. Please, please, I'm urging you, go look. This is the way business and life should be run. That's why the show is named what it's named, because when things are in harmony, they're just easier and they're more fun. So subscribe. See you on tomorrow's episode of Harmonious at Lunch. And thanks for being here.
You got it.